Old Joe Becher's taken out a contract somewhere up the buoy, cutting out the scrub. Asked Joe Becher if he'd like to come in with him. Offers him his blankets and his wages and his grub.
Old Joe Becher's got a fine tarpaulin which he slings across the tea tree pole wherever he makes camp. But young Joe Becher gets a neat cow lean-to, full of bugs and beetles and flamin' cold and damp.
Young Joe Becher's plump as any pigeon. Old Joe Becher's skinny and he's bent, but that's not why Joe Becher can't crawl under that tarpaulin. Old Joe Becher's got a woman in his tent.
Swing that slasher low, boy, swing that slasher low. Swing that slasher high, boy, and someone's going to die. Yeah, old Joe Becher's got himself a woman to keep his billy boiling, to keep his blankets warm. But young Joe Becher's got to shiver in his bedroll when the wind blows through the neat cow in the southwest storm. Old Joe Becher drives like the devil, keeps them at the scrub face while there's any light to see. But one day old Joe's woman brings the billy to the clearing, and she smiles at young Joe Becher while he drinks his mug of tea. Next day midday young Joe goes back to camp for water, says he doesn't like the taste of oil slicks in the creek. Old Joe points and knocks a dinar off his wages, and young Joe sees that woman every midday for a week. Swing that slasher low, boys, swing that slasher low. Swing that slasher high, boys, someone's going to die.
But by and by old Joe starts to get a bit suspicious, seeing young Joe's always gone for longer than he said. So he sneaks through the tea tree, peeps under that tarpaulin, and there's young Joe and the woman on his fern-stalk bed.
Swing that slasher low, boys, swing that slasher low. Swing that slasher high, boy, and someone's gonna die.
Back in the clearing, old Joe sharpens up his slasher. She's a hook blade beauty, and he keeps her razor keen. Young Joe has a straight back, heavy in the handle, but he hacks into the scrub with it and soon shows where he's been. Pretty soon young Joe comes back to the clearing, happy as a kitty with a belly full of kai. Merry as a mudlark, silly as a swamp hen, wails into the scrub and leaves his stakes too high. Well, old Joe's wild, but this makes him wilder. It's the first and foremost lesson every tea tree jack should know. Cripes, he shouts out, look boy, if you're gonna work in with me, swing your slasher low, boy, swing your slasher low.
Swing that slasher low, boy, swing that slasher low. Swing that slasher high, boy, someone's gonna die. Then suddenly he's really mad and really out for murder. Young Joe silly grins, really got his goat. He pulls back his head and drops down on his shoulders. He swings that shining slasher blade straight at Joe Becher's throat. Young Joe sees it coming and he hops out sideways. Old Joe gets off balance and he swings without a check. Young Joe's high stakes catch him as he fumbles. One goes through his belly and another through his neck. Young Joe looks at old Joe kicking in the tea tree, thinks perhaps he knows a thing or two he shouldn't know. He thinks about the woman as he takes that straight back slasher, and he does as old Joe told him and he swings his slasher low. Swing that slasher low, boys, swing that slasher low. Swing that slasher high, boys, someone's going to die.
In the evening young Joe Becher bullocks up the body. The night is dark and velvet, and the sky looks set for rain. But all that Joe can think of is his dark and velvet woman, as he dumps Joe Becher's body down a gaping bush drain. Then the rain's on that tarpaulin like drumsticks on a drumhead, and the lightning flashes brighter than the candle lamp above. But young Joe and the woman don't give tuppence for the weather. They're down on old Joe's bracken bed and mad with making love.
But the lamp hung on the ridgepole starts to flicker, and a wind whips through the tent, tries to tear it right apart. And just before the candle died, Joe sees the yellow water, and something in the water puts ice around his heart.
Then there's roaring and there's screaming as the flood roars through the canvas, and young Joe falls and flounders like a bullock in a swamp. But there's something floating round his legs that clutches him and holds him till the wind and water's gone and there's silence in the camp.
Swing that slasher low, boy, swing that slasher low. Swing that slasher high, boy, and someone's gonna die. Young Joe fumbles in his moleskins for a vesta, strikes a light and reaches for the lamp above his head. But the match falls from his fingers when he sees Joe Becker's body lying where the woman lay upon the bracken bed.
Swing that slasher low, boy, swing that slasher low. Swing that slasher high, boy, and someone's going to die. You may see young Joe Becher if you go up the buoy, and perhaps you'll give him sixpence at your horse's head to hold. But be sure he won't come near you if you're carrying a slasher, and be sure you'll hear him moaning when the wind blows high and cold.
Swing that slasher low, boy,
swing that slasher low.
Swing that slasher high, boy, and someone's going to die. Swing that slasher low, boy, swing that slasher low. Swing that slasher high, boy, and someone's going to die.